Okay, I caught it. All right. All right, all right. LDBC, LDW, MMAC, and now LD Track and Field Community. This is your boy, Coach Sheldon Harrison. You live, live, live on the Coach Sheldon Harrison. It's not combat today. It's actually it's track and field, throwing, my background, and I want to call it field and track. But I got a special guest. Um, I don't want to. I got a pet peeve with names, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get it right because I've been practicing. All right.
Okay.
Um, Stamatia Scarvelis?
Perfect. Yeah.
Nah, really.
Yeah.
If it's wrong, now you got to tell me if it's wrong because I got to say it right.
Scarvelis, you said it right.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, I'm thankful that you took time out of your day because I know you training hard. All the work you put in. Thank you for joining me today.
Of course, of course. I'm glad to do it.
Okay. So for those of y'all not familiar, okay, she's a thrower. Okay, she's a thrower. She's throwing a shot put. She's throwing a discus. She's throwing a hammer throw. She's throwing a weight throw. The only event that I think you haven't tried was a javelin, correct?
I threw it once in a heptathlon, but after that, I was done.
Okay. So Stam, and people do call you Stam, right?
Yeah.
God, what? I'm good. I've been researching you heavy. Okay, so how did you get started? How'd you get started throwing the shot put?
So I just got into track in general through my brothers. I have two older brothers, and I would just go to all their track meets, and it just felt natural to follow in line with what they did. And I started running at first, and then my parents wanted me to just try the shot put. And the first time I ever threw it, I got like last place. I hated it, and I didn't want to do it again. And then I started doing the multi events. When you're young, you do the pentathlon, and so I had to start throwing it. And then when I met my coach, you were just saying Kent Pagel, when I was a sophomore in high school, he told me I'm probably going to be best in the throws. So to kind of leave behind the running events and the jumping events and really focus on the throws. So that's where it kind of began. It was a slow. It wasn't love at first sight at all, but we got there eventually.
So Coach Pagel used his skill of of encouragement and just what's that word? He used his skill set to convince you that you needed to throw.
Yeah, I mean, we worked on it, and he was kind of like, "Yeah, you can still do long jump, and you can still do all that." But for some reason, I ended up not doing them at meets, and then it just made more sense. I started winning, and that was, I started to see such progress that I really had never had a real coach before, and then so just seeing those big jumps and that big progress was reassuring, and that's kind of what got me hooked.
Now, was Coach Pagel was he a teacher at your school?
No. So my family, I mean, I was lucky being the third child because my parents had done it with two siblings before me. So they kind of knew some people in the track community, and they were trying to find just a throws coach. And so a fellow high school throwing coach actually recommended his wife, Ramona Pagel, who's the former American record holder in the shot put and all this. And so um, he recommended, reaching out to the Pagels, and that's when I first met them. So he had no affiliation with our school. He lived about an hour and a half away, and so we just kind of met through there, and it went from there.
Now, how did you luck up to get the husband of an American record holder? I mean, that,
They, yeah, they had just moved down to like Ventura County, and he was helping out at the city college nearby. It was all just good timing and all that. Yeah, I don't know.
and you were doing the glide. You were doing the glide back. I'm telling you, it just 6 years ago to me, it just seemed like it was yesterday. Because when I saw you doing it at New Balance Nationals, you
Yeah.
were you were utilizing the glide back in high school. I mean, what? Okay, so now you utilize that glide technique, and Kent Pagel got like YouTube videos all over the place showing you. How long did it take you to get that form down to where you can use it?
Um, well, just I mean, I feel I didn't even know he had all these YouTube videos. Like I knew he posted some, but I didn't really know how many people had seen them until I went to college because I wasn't really on YouTube. I didn't really use a lot of social media. But I mean, it was over that first year. I mean, it was over all 3 years that I was working with him. But that first year, I went from throwing like 41 feet or 40 feet to ending my season with 49 feet when I was a sophomore in high school. So just that, I mean, it was more to do with building confidence in technique and than anything. It's not like strength numbers did a huge thing, but just getting reps in and getting comfortable and confident in what I was doing. Just it builds the, just building that consistency lets you, take over from there.
You trying to be extremely modest. I mean, and I saw how you snuck it in there. You threw 40 feet the first year you touched the shot put. Man, that's amazing.
I mean, I would like I would go off and on. See, I mean, I was lucky. The thing is, like my brother Nicholas, who's a 2016 Olympian, he loved throwing, and he would always be throwing. And I would have to go and tag along in his practices when I was, probably in elementary school or middle school, and so I probably messed around with it. So I guess I probably threw shot before I really was in high school, but to really like take it seriously, he kind of coached me to my through my freshman year of high school. But yeah, then I mean, I really didn't have any real concepts of what I was doing until my sophomore year.
Wow. So now you in high school, you're throwing the shot put, over 50 feet. You throwing the discus over 170. Did you get a lot of like your competitors come up and say, "What are you doing to be so good? Hey, can I work with you?"
I grew up in Southern like Santa Barbara County, Santa Barbara area, so I mean, there weren't that many people that like really knew what I was doing. I mean, if you wanted to be training with me, you could. It was just a small group of people. We would go back and forth. Kate started to actually coach at my high school, so we had probably more throwers come out, and he would coach the kids there, and then we would often go down to the Ventura area, and I had some more training partners down there. We would go to the Ventura High School, and so I kind of through with those high school kids, but at meets I don't really remember kids asking how I did it, but I mean everyone was just really nice and friendly. It wasn't like I was some different thrower out there.
Okay. Now, and guys, if y'all don't know, everybody watching, looking, listen, us coaches, we do have our select ones. That's just what it is, okay? It's not favoritism. We just know the kids that's the most serious. So I'm sure Coach Pagel knew you were like overly serious, so he just kind of had some side practices with you to hone in on what we see today.
Yeah, I mean I think he took the little coaching job at my high school mainly because I think that first year I was having to. I don't think he was a part of the school, and so we would drive back and forth or go other places to train. So he really did it because I was a part of that school, and more kids would end up asking questions and being interested, and so uh, yeah, that's how he got associated with our high school in general.
Wow. Now, is it true that you went undefeated like your junior and your senior year in the shot put? Like you went completely undefeated in the state of California?
I don't know. Was this the trivia you were talking about?
Nah, this not even a trivia question. Like, honestly, like, cause I told you I've been. I mean, I knew. See, I've always known about you. Like, I've always known about you, cause and actually too, it's weird because I used to train another athlete named Kayla Dawson, and she knows you. And
Yeah,
yeah, she knows you. She always used to say, "Man, you see how Stamatia did her glide? Man,
well,
she hit that front hard." You know,
she could outthrow me now by a lot. So
but see, we're gonna talk about that because you know, I, so from high school, okay, from high school to college, you
yeah,
transition into the rotation.
uh-huh.
And when I saw you rotating, I said, "Psh, shot put, it's over. Like this Scarvelis girl, she finna go and she finna beat the hell out of everybody." When I saw you actually doing a rotation when you were at UCLA, I
Yeah.
mean, how big of a transition was that from rotation to, I mean, from glide to rotation?
For me, it was big. I mean, I think it varies per person. Some kids you have, and they just pick it up so naturally, and then they PR the next practice. And then some it takes a little longer. I think I had a harder time because I had such an embedded like routine with it, and I had built so much confidence in what I was doing with the glide that it was hard. It was like I just needed that transition to be like overnight, and that's not how it works. So it took a lot of time, um, and yeah, it was a bigger process, or it took more of a process for me, and I don't think I ever really got that same connection or feeling of consistency the same way. The spin is great, and I had blips of throwing really far, but
Yes, you did.
I don't think I really honed in that like major consistency. But I was also juggling then different events and being pulled in a different direction and what I liked more. So I was just leaving. I was moving away from it a little bit too.
Wow. So I want to ask you a technical question now. What's the difference in feeling a glide power position from a rotational shot put power position?
I mean, in the glide, so much of the throw is a power position. Um, so like you build up such a base, and the feeling when you land in that power position is like that's almost when the throw begins, because whereas in the spin it's a whole continuation of a movement, and you see, I mean, learning, if you're coaching a glider, you need to have a huge stand throw. That's essential. Building a big stand throw, building even a big non-reverse stand throw is huge. Where in the spin, you do stand throws and all that, but it's building it whole, like wholly into the spin. That's the more holistic part of the spin. It's less segmented and it's more about the whole fluidity of the movement.
Okay.
So it was a really different feeling, I think. You really feel the power position in the glide, whereas in the spin, if you're stopping and standing around, you're probably not getting the most out of it.
Wow. Hey y'all, listen. If you got any throwers listening, you guys need to pay her right now for this. Okay. Need to
I
pay
don't
her
know.
right now.
Coach, man. I could be saying all the wrong stuff.
No, I mean, I'm sitting here listening. I'm listening because I had a couple of athletes that they're transitioning from glide to spin, and I asked the question specifically because I don't care how long I've
Yeah.
been coaching. I can learn, and I'm going to learn a whole bunch from you today, right now, like I am. So I always ask questions, and and a question in the comment section. A gentleman named Marcus Bell, he asked you. He said he wants to know, um, what do you do to build up your power to throw the hammer? Oh, he's already going in the hammer now.
To build up power in the hammer. So this is my first full year only throwing hammer. So that means all of my training now is directed for hammer specific training. So building up power, I mean, is if you're talking in the weight room, we do a whole, like I don't do any more upper body. I'm weak now. I don't do bench. I don't do any of that. It's like I did for most the majority of the year. I did a bunch of front squats, a bunch of, I mean, like clean work. You're doing a lot of like lower body work, lower body accessory work, and building up a really strong back too, because that's majority of where your power is going to be from, and that's what you need to emphasize. So it's kind of making your body a little bit disproportionate by ignoring your like arms and everything, making sure you're building a strong back and lower half. Um, I don't know if that answers his question.
Of course it did. Of course it did. And even if it didn't, he's not going to complain. He better not complain because I'll come over there. No, I'm not. I'm just playing. I won't do anything to him. But seriously, so I'm glad you hit that point that hammer throwers, predominantly hammer throwers, they don't do a lot of upper body. So you don't do arm curls. Do you do any push ups or you do pull ups or anything like that?
No, no.
Wow.
I don't even know if I could do a pull. That's even before, even when I was doing shot put workouts, I don't even know if I could do a pull up. But no, I'd say the most type of upper body. I mean, I've done some jerks, which kind of gets your shoulders and that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
no, as of now, no. You do like jerks. You could do some rhythmic jerks to work on your like explosiveness and
Hmm.
like speed and power and all that. But no, I haven't hit an upper body workout in a long time.
Right. Hey y'all, man, we ought to do something for charity. We need to call it the STEM pull up challenge. You know, like for every pull up
I
she
don't
do,
think money would be made.
hey, we probably, hey, for every pull up she do, donate $25, to the charity of her choice. That's what y'all do. Yeah, yeah. Hey guys, we ought to conduct that one day. The stand pull up challenge. I'm serious. I'm serious
I'm
about that.
training now.
I am so super serious. Or hey, matter of fact, just give her $25 for every pull up she can do. Let's give the money to the stand. Let's give it to her. Yeah.
I wouldn't turn that down.
Okay. All right, y'all. You here? Okay. All right. See, watch. If I set something in motion, it's gonna get started. Watch. The stand pull up challenge. I'm so serious. So you started your collegiate career at UCLA with your brothers, and
Mhm.
then you moved to Tennessee. And you moved to Tennessee with a very very good coach. And I got a lot of respect for Coach John Newell. I'm telling you, I don't even know if he ever told you. We've spent like years ago. We spent time just talking on the phone about throwing, like talking about different types of athletes, talking about like positions, talking about like where. I mean, him and I we've talked just technical stuff, like talking like two people would talk on the phone, and
Yeah.
amazing. But you transferred out there, at Tennessee. Was it hard for you to leave UCLA?
Um, it was hard once I moved, but no, I don't ever regret having left. And once I left, I didn't really look back. I think it was the right move for me. I don't ever question it. Yeah, by the end of my redshirt freshman year, so I spent 2 years there, but competed 1 year. I just didn't think I'd be able to get the most out of my collegiate experience there, and I mean, it's the reason why we don't all train under the same training system, like just not every program works for every athlete. And I had a great time. I was able to be on the team with my brother for 2 years, but I couldn't have continued on there. I think it was the right move to leave. And yeah, I mean, Coach John Knoll, I mean, it kind of spoke for itself. His training. But what also transferring does is transferring is not going to solve all your problems. It made me realize too what I needed to work on myself and how I went about training and how I went about throws practices as well. So yeah, I think it kind of just pushed me to just grow up a little more too, leaving California and heading out here.
Yeah, it just seemed like when you got to Tennessee. Well, I still got a bone to pick with you because, in high school you were a good discus thrower, and then all of a sudden I'm looking like, man, she's totally just left the discus going, and that's my favorite event, by the way. And I'm saying, how can
Yeah,
she do such a thing?
yeah, that's my least favorite event. I mean, in high school, I really wanted. I think I was motivated to learn the discus because, I mean, I just wanted to have that like dual title of being a state champion in both. You know, I think that's really what got me going. It wasn't this love I had for the discus. Once you start throwing the discus and it goes far, yeah, that's fun. But once I got to college, I mean, it's hard balancing three events. You are starting to see it more now. I mean, Maggie Ewan's a
Maggie
great
Ewing.
example of that when she was in college. But I mean, it's hard to do. There's a reason why people don't like do it that often. So yeah, between the three, Discus took the sacrifice, and I mean, I ended up throwing I think like 56 meters. I was probably more of a consistent like 53-meter thrower. Um, but I mean, I had fun doing it, but it wasn't a big passion of mine. And towards the end, I mean,
Yeah.
that senior year of mine, I had elbow surgery,
Oh my God.
so discus, I could probably count on my hand on that the amount of times I was able to practice. But yeah, I mean, it just kind of took the brunt when you're trying to prioritize training and different events.
Yeah, I know. You and Maggie, y'all kind of broke my heart though, cause she threw the discus away to go with shot put and hammer.
Threw it way far, and yeah, she's not even throwing it right now. So
Yeah, yeah, I know. We just got a lot of haters when it comes to discus. That's just what that is. Nah, I heard you say elbow surgery. I'm playing. I'm joking. Okay, so this gentleman's name is Reggie the Tree, and trust me, he's like an all-knowing tree of knowledge. He says, "What would a perfect hammer throw look like to you?" And what has it? Okay, and what has to happen in order for you to achieve that perfect throw? That's a good question.
well, I I would say it there like sorry, I'll organize my thoughts. Um, since I consider myself really have learned hammer throw when I got to college because that's the first time I really like when I was at UCLA. Coach Mike Maynard, who was my hammer coach at the time, he really just broke down technique, and all we did was do turns and then build up. Just throwing into a net. And when I started to compete with it, it was so hard because I kept saying the hammer throw takes so long to throw. It's like gives you so much time to mess up while you're in the throw. And so it's really difficult to get that really amazing feeling throw. Um, and it took until I would say this summer when I qualified for world championships that my 71-meter throw, when I just felt on. It's a good feeling throw is when it just you're on autopilot and I can't even describe it to you. Like the moment you go, you black out and then you end the throw and it's like, yeah, that was it. So I don't really to look, I can't really visualize it for you, but the best throws are when they're feeling easy. I don't think anyone would tell you otherwise. Anything too forced, it's when you're able to combine all the power and the lifting and everything you're doing, all that power input, and you're able to just relax and let your body take over and apply like those two both perfectly work together. So really this year in training was my first full year of just throwing hammer and by the end I was preparing for my season opener and I was really honing into that feeling of just total relaxation, let your body take over. So I think but unfortunately, I mean, due to everything, I wasn't able to open up. But I mean, I think that's the feeling you're really looking for is when you're able to just let it go and just let your body take over.
Wow, man, I'm gonna play this answer back 1,000 times. I've never heard somebody explain it so beautifully. Like seriously, to achieve the perfect throw, because you didn't. You, it was more like a feeling, like you described
Yeah,
a feeling. Wow,
yeah.
man, man, man. He said great answer. He says he appreciate that. And Mr. Bennett says, wow, she looks so strong. Oh, okay. So I don't know. You can't see the screen yet, but it's got like some of your
Oh,
accolades, got you on fire. Throwing the hammer because boom, and,
yeah.
and everybody can see your muscles and everybody can see that you're strong. And speaking of that, and I'm gonna tell you this, and I was actually cheering you on, because I follow you on Instagram and I keep up. I look at some of the training stuff you do, especially with the hammer, because I'm like, oh, okay, I could try that. Oh, I could try that. Man, I didn't know you can do that in the weight throw. Like, I think well, in the weight throw, by the way, you do. You don't actually start from a heel to toe in the back. You actually start from like on the ball of your front foot on the first turn, right? Like,
In the
yeah, in the weight throw, do you
in
start?
both in both hammer and weight, I do the exact same technique. As I do a toe turn first, and then so I do
Okay.
a toe turn and then three heel turns. Yeah,
See, when I was breaking down the video that you, I'm like, man, what is? But then I started to see like, oh, okay, it could actually work. It
yeah.
could actually work. So yeah, but that was a post you put up, and I guess some people have been criticizing you because of how you dress and this kind of stuff. And so when you put that up, I said, thank you, thank you. I'm glad. Thank you, thank you, thank you, because these people. So what happened to precipitate you to just stick your head into the dragon's mouth?
Oh, it wasn't any one particular event. I've heard it over the years. I don't know. I guess I was born and raised in a little beach town, and so I'm used to just maybe wearing less clothes than people are used to. But I mean, when I'm out at a track and I'm working out and it's hot and I'm getting to take off my shirt and like I'm trying to train and I'm trying to work out. I don't think it's maybe it's weird for people to see, but I mean, I'm just trying to get the most out of my training, and I'm really just focused on myself. And if that's gonna make me more comfortable, I'm just gonna take my shirt off.
Thank you for
And
being a strong woman and comfortable within your own skin. I'm serious. I appreciate that because just a lot of people, this body shaming crap, it gets on my nerves,
yeah,
especially with athletic people such as yourself. You got Tiffany Townsend, a tennis player. They were trying to
yeah,
do her like that. And I mean, you guys are 20 something. Y'all 20 something. You're in the prime of your
right,
life. You got
yeah,
everything going for you. You just need 999 more haters. That's all you need. I'm
yeah.
serious. If you get 1,000 haters, then that means you filthy rich. I'm just But yeah, I
I
was glad.
appreciate
But that,
it.
that that's what triggered me. I said, I really want to interview. This is the first thrower I've interviewed. Believe it or not, I interview fighters. I
Yeah,
interview fighters, MMA fighters. That's what I interview.
yeah.
Um,
I was down there. I was like, where's the thrower out on here? I don't know.
yeah, well, it's weird because my background is in track and field, is in throwing, but
Yeah,
my other background is in fighting. MMA,
yeah.
boxing, and that kind of stuff, and wrestling. But I kind of juggled the two, and I said, nah, I want to interview a thrower, a real thrower. And as soon as I said that, I'm trying to get some hammer information off one of your videos, and I saw
Yeah,
the post, and I said, I had to talk to this kid. I got to, I got to. I don't care what I got to do. If I'm gonna beg for her to say yes. But
I appreciate it.
no, I appreciate you. Okay, so now the events happened. You went off to the University of Tennessee. I mean,
Mhm.
you were like indoor weight champion. You set the school record in the weight throw. Then you set the school record in the shot put. Then you set the school record in the hammer throw. And you were close to setting it in the no. Were you close in the discus? I'm not. I can't remember.
No, they have a good one. It's 61 meters here.
Okay, so you were 5 meters off from that. Okay, that's not that far. You did all this work at Tennessee. Okay,
Yeah.
what precipitated that metamorphosis that you went through when you got to Tennessee?
Um, I I was looking for, that's part of what wasn't working at UCLA when I was saying, some programs work better for other kids. Not every coach is for every kid. So what I was looking for when I was transferring was just some more structure in my training, and someone who, you know, when I told, my goals and all of this, had a working vision for how to get me there. And so, like you said, I mean, you probably could have talked to Coach Newell for 2 more hours just talking technique, because that's the kind of guy that he is too. He loves throwing, and he's more than willing to help. I mean, that's something that I noticed right away, is that he was a pretty humble guy, and he wasn't trying to sell me anything when I was talking to him about Tennessee. And I had seen all the success he had with, that year it was Tavis Bailey and Steve Moja who made it to the 2016 Olympics.
He's
Cassie
coaching.
Wortman, yeah, Cassie Wortman threw 17, 40 something in the shot, and he had all this success. And so when I transferred, it was just I really, like I was saying before, I need to change a lot in myself. I needed to, become more of a disciplined athlete, and the team there and the coaches there, they just really created that structure for me to grow into myself a little more. So I'd say, like, lifting, just you don't need to max out every time. Build a base, I definitely grew my technique more in the weight room, which resulted in me, I think I lost a lot of my fat, and like I slimmed down, but I got a lot stronger. So the first year was more about like learning the team dynamics, learning how to train properly, and like I threw pretty far. And then the next year was like, all right, well, like now I have that training base under me. Let's really take this into the competitions, and that's when I threw the 1777 in shot, and threw 69 meters that year in hammer, and 56 in the disc, and the first time I became a first team All American. So yeah, just like building upon that, and it was just, I'm the type of athlete that I'm going to want a little more structure, and I like having a plan, and not only Coach Newell but Tennessee just had a good structure and plan in place to allow me to kind of just fall into that.
Wow.
So
Yeah, yeah. Throwing for Coach Newell. Honestly, talking to him, you kind of want to just sell out right there and just go ahead and do what he's telling you, because you can feel his passion, and it's not just a job to him. It's
yeah,
more of a he wants you to do the best that you can do
yeah,
with what you have, and if he believes that you can be like a world champion, then he's gonna get that out of you. You know, he's gonna get it out of. I've never heard him talk down and say, "Oh, this person can't do it." Every athlete that he's ever talked to me about, and we back in the past, he's always said, "I'm gonna get this out of them. Oh yeah, they're gonna be able to do this. They can do this." And
yeah,
when Chance was telling me, he said, "Yeah, hey, I'm gonna go to Tennessee." I said, "Well, that's the best school you could have went to." I said, "Good." I said,
yeah,
"Good." So I kind of knew then and there he's gonna have goals and he's gonna get his stuff going.
yeah.
Um, okay, so we got a question from a fan, a new fan of yours, by the way. Dang, look at you. You got fans already. Okay, he says a quick. Marcus Bell says, quick question. On each hammer throw that you throw, do each one of them weigh different weights or all of them the same?
So in a training session, like the last training cycle I did, usually you kind of vary, and I probably throw about two different ball weights per practice. You don't take them right after like one another. Say I will do about 12 throws with the 3.5 kilo hammer, so a lighter one, and then I'll after that I'll do 12 throws with the 4K hammer. So you kind of switch it up. And depending on the type of training, sometimes, like last year, I went from, 10 throws with the 5 kilo hammer, then 10 throws with the 4.5 kilo hammer, 10 throws with the 3.5 kilo hammer. So there is a wide range, and depending on what you're trying to get out of the training. So like earlier in the year I did a lot of heavy ball work, and then most recently when I was trying to prepare for the competition, the heaviest ball I was throwing was the 4K hammer, and I was really working on throwing lighter stuff so I could feel fast and get my strength and speed timed up, if that helps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Marcus. She explained that, man. Look, yeah, a person that's not even paying attention to it could see what she just said. So I'm just kidding, Marcus. That's my buddy. I mess with him all the time because most of the people here they actually don't know much about throwing, and I'm actually trying to gain more of a throwing audience since that's what I did, and I coached it for years and years and years. So it's kind of crazy how I got into fights, but she broke this down extremely well. I hope that answers your question. Okay, so now all of your success from Tennessee and now you get a chance to compete, okay, for your country. And I got on my Greek colors here, by the way. I put on my blue and my white because I knew I had to interview my Greek colors. I did that for you, okay, for you. But and you were at and please and correct me immediately if I get this wrong. You were at the Balkan Championships, correct?
Yep,
Okay, is that right?
that's correct.
You were on your last throw to
No,
qualify.
I
No,
was on my either fifth. I think it was my fifth round throw.
well, the suspense was killing me. Okay, I just want you to know the suspense was killing me. And you stepped in. You needed to throw 71 meters. You threw 71.33. What was going through your mind after you let that throw go out of your hand?
Um, I mean, again, like I was saying, when you feel that perfect throw, when you release it, I yell. If you force a yell, it's probably not that good. I yelled naturally, and I just knew it was far. I didn't know it was going to be 71.33. I didn't know it was going to be over 71 meters, but it felt good. It finally felt like I had a throw that I just let myself take the throw. Like I was finally comfortable throwing hammer in a competition. Because for me, sometimes, like I was saying before, it was taking me reps and reps and reps, and a lot of like getting in my own way in competitions. And so it finally it felt like it was just a clean throw. And in the video I think you're talking about, I didn't leave it in, but at one point I ran over to my coach and I just yelled, it didn't even feel that good. Um, as in like it just felt clean. It didn't feel like there was any major like crazy like extra punch to it. And honestly, like that moment, it was just the most like relieving feeling because I mean, I didn't have picture perfect NCAA end to my career, you know. Having that surgery kind of set me back to be able to be in the prime of my season at the end of the collegiate season. And it was, it was really hard, and it was really hard to work back the European season, and then being able to throw that throw and qualify for the world champs. It was just like a huge thank you to the support staff at Tennessee who had been supporting me the whole time, and then also just a huge thank you to the whole Greek team, the Greek coaches, and all of them. So yeah, that was kind of what was all going on.
Wow. I mean, that was a big moment, and that's your lifetime best, right? 71.33.
Yeah. And the sixth round throw was 70-27. So I got two over 70, which I was really stoked about too. So that was
What
cool for me.
now with that one throw, you qualify for the World Championships, correct?
Yeah.
All right. I got to get you to talk about that experience now. Now we're going into the big leagues.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I had competed at like the European Championships before, but this was the first like major international competition I had been at. And I mean, it was crazy. You just the whole time I was just thinking, treat it like you've tackled NCAA, like you've tackled collegiate meets, like just treat it like it's any other competition. Don't blow it way out of proportion because at the end of the day, it's just another meet, and you get three throws. You got to walk. Everyone has to walk in, take a fair throw, and walk out, and just go from there. So I try not to overhype it, but it was really just really cool to be able to compete with those girls, and then I had the second best competition in my life because I ended up throwing 69. I don't know the exact distance, but I think it was the second best competition of my life. So I mean, to have that on the world stage, and it was just a really cool way to close out the year. And then I mean, after I was done competing, you just get to watch track, and you get to watch really high level track, which was really cool to see in person. So it was an amazing time.
Man, I'm excited just hearing you talking about how amazing it was. I mean, and you did all that, and now you also you have a sponsor. You have a sponsor. I mean, please talk to us about your sponsor because it's up on the screen too, by the way. But still,
Well, I'm wearing a sweatshirt right now. It's called Hate Brand Goods. It is created by Matt Vincent. He was actually a thrower back in his day when he was in college. He threw at LSU. He was a hammer thrower, actually. Um, and then after that, he dabbled in a lot of different strength sports. He did powerlifting. I think he did some like strongman or some Highland game stuff. And he founded this company called Hate Brand. And it has a lot of apparel. It has different equipment for training. And it's really cool. And it's more of just like a mantra of like, just put all of your negative energy and make it a positive outcome. So just by training, be your best self, no matter what stage you're at of training. You know, if you're like me and I'm trying to train for the Olympics, or you're just trying to get a workout in and keep your body fit and push your body to be healthy. You can attack it the same way. So yeah, I think they're really great. You should check them out. But no,
I will.
he's been really cool and really supportive. And that's a difficult thing after you leave college. You know, you have this team around you, and now you're kind of on your own when you continue on in track and field post collegiately. So that can be pretty intimidating. But when you know, I reached out to Matt, and when Matt and I talked, it was just kind of like having this team again, this kind of support system, which I think is important to kind of find. And so, yeah, I've been really lucky to be able to work with them. But yeah, uh, that's a little bit about Hate Brand.
Hate brand, and and I'm gonna ask you a little bit more about that toward the end because we got a few more minutes. But I want to
Okay.
ask you, you got people saying they're gonna look you up, and see, that's what I was trying to do, get more of my fight audience to actually start looking at because we interview a lot of fighters, and now I'm trying to curve them to get somebody else who's actually just got goals, and you crazy going toward all your goals. Okay, this message is from Mr. George Page. He says he's got two of them. He said, "Well, how do you feel with the Olympics getting postponed?"
hmm Obviously, I mean, when we heard the news, we were all kind of speculating it for some time because everything was shutting down, and at a certain point, I mean, it couldn't have gone on the way it was going, because then you have athletes just putting themselves at risk to try and sneak into training places and try and sneak into onto tracks, into gyms and all that, and it just kind of it's just unsafe. And then it's also, I thought if we continued on with it, it would have been not in the right Olympic spirit. You know, the Olympics is just every nation coming together and celebrating sport. And when we aren't able to do that, if you were talking about having Olympics with an empty stadium with no fans, it didn't seem right. And it also didn't seem right to just it wasn't quite, you know, respectful to those who are, you know, directly suffering from what's going on, and those who are working to help those who are yeah, it wouldn't be right to those working to stop what's going on. So I mean, of course it was difficult because this is the moment we're all training for, and something like track, you get one moment, you know, it's you know, it's not the biggest sport on the scene, and so the Olympics is really the pinnacle of our sport. But you know, I think it was the right call, and the new goal is now just 2021, and to push towards that.
Okay, Joy, she answered that question. Look, Hate Brand Goods, they need to make a commercial with you in it. Like they need to make you the face. Seriously, they need to make a commercial because it's like you already got stuff already you doing right now on your Instagram. I'm telling you, they could probably push a lot of gear with a commercial with you on it, and then have some of your commentary on it.
Yeah,
Oh
I'll
man,
contact with.
they need to do it. I'm telling you, man. I'm gonna go. You know what? Promo code Hammer. Okay, gotcha,
Yeah,
gotcha. They got to make that commercial. Man, see, 'cause the reason why I'm laughing because I can visualize it in my head. You
yeah.
know how you telling everybody to work and do what you got to do, and then then you promote the hate brand. I already see it, but And Alicia asked a question. Says, "Would you have been in the Olympics?" Yeah. Now, okay. Now that's a good question. Okay, I'm gonna phrase it in the right way. So she said, "Would you have been in the Olympics?" So you would be competing for Greece. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, Now, where do you rank in terms of female hammer throwers for Greece, say for your Olympic trials?
For Greece, I'm number one in the country. It's a pretty small country, so what's actually different is in the U.S. everyone's so used to having to qualify for the Olympics
Yeah.
and go to the Olympic team trials because how it actually works is that the the World Athletics creates a or the IAAF creates a standard, a world standard, an A standard. So in the US, you have so many athletes passing that A standard that they have to put on an Olympic trials to select three athletes that can go. In a country like Greece, um, they're probably I would probably be the only one qualifying for that. Usually, you don't have more than three athletes um, passing the A standard in a country. So if you hit that A standard qualifying mark, then I would be going. So I hadn't hit the A standard mark, but they were also implementing. I don't know if you know they're implementing a new world ranking system
Hmm.
to kind of set it up more like golf. So a point system. And so at the end of last year, I was ranked 21st in the nation through the or 21st in the world through that. Um, so yeah, this push definitely I would have been chasing the A standard, which I was about a meter off of, so 3 feet. Um, but now that has been all postponed, so I can't qualify until December of 2020. That process will reopen, and then yeah, you have to qualify, and then I'll be on my way. So I hadn't technically yet qualified, but it's a little different process than if I was a U.S. athlete competing for the U.S.
Well, you're in the right training system. You got the right coach, the right strength programs, and you even got the right people around you that's training with you to obtain that. Wow. This. I mean, and you're 23 right now. 22.
24.
Wow. And so, when you left, you were like 21, 22, and you made a life decision at that young age. That shows a lot of maturity. Shows a lot of maturity. 'Cause I don't know a lot of young 20 somethings that can think like that, but I guess you knew exactly what you were after. So I listen. I'm. It's a privilege to even sit here and talk to you. That's what I'm
Oh,
saying.
no, say it like that. I appreciate it.
It's a
No, I
privilege.
appreciate doing this.
Well, okay, Miss Greek Olympic hammer thrower. See, I'm finna speak it into existence anyway for you.
Thank you.
It's time for it's time for the Scarvelis trivia. It's time for the trivia.
Okay,
How well do you know yourself?
I don't think I know more. Let's
How
hear
well
it.
do you know yourself? All right, y'all. Listen. She got stuff to do. Wait a minute. Let me see. Okay. Okay, good. Nobody asked an additional question. Okay. What is your exact high school PR in the shot put?
53 feet 9 inches. 53 foot 9. Is that it?
Is it 53.9 and a quarter? Did you
I,
forget the quarter?
yeah.
Oh, wow. Not good. Not good. I need to put a big old X on the screen. No, okay, 53.9. Let's round it. This ain't math class. Congrats. Okay, now,
Appreciate
what day did you throw that on?
it. Day? I don't know. It was
How do you not know
in
that?
in April at some time.
No, no.
March.
What? And that's your big PR. How you
I
gonna explain that? Wow. I mean,
in
hey,
March.
I remember the day I hit my PRs. I guess you don't.
I
Okay,
don't tell you any of them.
okay, all right, all right. I'm gonna let the cat out the bag. Okay, it was May the 2nd, and guess who
Oh,
videotaped it?
Kent Pagel.
Yes, he did, and he
Okay.
did he did a masterful job. Yep, 53.9 and a quarter. Boy, you forgot the quarter. You should be ashamed. And you did it on May 2nd, 2014, Stem.
That's a while ago. Yeah.
Yeah, congrats. Okay, we got two more. We're about done with this. All right, so what day? I'm sorry. What is your college PR in the hammer throw?
I can't tell you in feet.
Oh, meters.
Um,
Let's do it in meters.
um, if we're talking when I was in uniform at Tennessee,
Hmm.
it's 69.11.
Okay. Congrats. Good job. Good job.
Can't
Hey.
tell you what day that was though.
Say what?
I can't tell you what day that was though.
That's okay. I'm not gonna ask you. And finally, look, my final question. Okay,
Yeah.
who has the world hammer throw record for females right now?
Anita. Now it's
But you got to say her
I
last name.
I can't pronounce it right. It's like you. I'm not gonna say it and not get it right.
You got to be ashamed of yourself for that one.
I'm gonna say it like we're good friends, like Anita. My
Oh,
girl Anita has the record. Yeah.
hey, dodge that question like a bullet. Hey, well, Stam, I really, really, truly appreciate this. You don't know. I've the first thrower. I've interviewed a lot of people, but it's the
Yeah.
first thrower that I've actually interviewed, and
Um,
I'm thankful.
happy to be the first. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Well,
It's
God,
fun.
yeah, it was fun. But listen, now I gotta have you back on sometime in the future. After trials, and then I want to ask you what your thoughts was on trials. It won't take nearly as long because I just wanted to introduce people to you. Who are you?
I'm not
And I think we
something
got it.
that's
Really?
good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It seemed like we're just talking, just
Yeah.
talking, like two
Yeah.
people talking about throwing. That's what it is. I enjoy it. Well, listen, you wanna give anybody a shout out, your friends, your family, people that's been helping you out throughout this whole ordeal.
I mean, of course. I mean, we already talked about Coach Newell.
Yeah.
And someone else who's a huge help is Alexandros Papadimitriou. That's a full Greek name that for you. He's my Greek hammer coach.
How
He
do you
has
say his
the
name?
Alexandros Papadimitriou.
Papa Dimitri.
He has he's actually been to 5 Olympics. He competed in 5 Olympics, and he has thrown over 80 meters, and he's been a huge help to me in transitioning only to hammer. So those two are big shout outs, and of course my family. My two big brothers probably wouldn't be how deep I am into athletics without them, and of course my parents. I don't know. Am I missing anyone? Probably.
Yeah, you forgot. You forgot the people that make the hammers. And by the way, and I'm just playing, not those people. Stamp. What's the fastest way to get a hammer wire off? Those things are annoying the crap out of me. Like seriously, what? How do I get it off fast?
Use the full and like uh don't just try and like you gotta so like if you're holding on to the bottom part, use the like long wire part too. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Don't just try and go at it right at the base. Like you gotta make sure you use part of the whole wire if you're talking about like the bottom end part.
See, I got a pair
I,
of pliers, and I'm sitting here doing this, and it keeps like the little part keeps sliding back on. When you try to unravel it.
yeah,
Yeah, they get on my nerves, man. I can't stand
yeah,
it.
it'll hurt your fingers.
Okay. Well, and also too, I definitely want to thank your sponsors for knowing that you.
Of course. Yeah. Thank you to Hate Brand. I mean, for taking a chance on throwers as well. I'm one of two throwers that are being sponsored by them right now, and that's huge. I appreciate them just giving us a voice as well, and to be a part of their program.
Man, that's amazing. All right,
Yeah.
Stam. One more thing, and I'm gonna see if you get this right,
Yeah.
because every single fighter that I've interviewed, they messed this up.
Okay.
All right, I just need you to do a quick drop. Could you say, hey, say your name and you're watching Coach Shelton Harrison?
Say that last part again slowly.
All right, say, just say your name. My name is, and you're watching Coach Shelton Harrison.
Okay. All right. My name is Stamatia Scarvelis, and you're watching Coach Shelton Harrison.
You know what?
Is that good?
That's pretty good. You said it with some excitement.
Uh
You
huh.
said, yeah, but it seemed like you kind of forced it. Hey, let's do it again. Listen, let's get more exciting. Come on.
I mean, I was making sure I didn't forget the word. That was all it, right?
Yeah, you said it. You said it perfectly. Now,
Okay, here we go. Hey, I'm Stamatia Scarvelis, and you're watching Coach Shelton Harrison.
God, that's my favorite one right there. Hey, thank you for the interview time, and
Yeah.
definitely, I'm gonna keep up with you guys. Her information is up on the screen. Okay, Facebook, Instagram, and she also has a YouTube channel. And I
I'm not
like watching. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I said, yeah, I'm not great at that. If you subscribe, I'll be. I actually, honestly, just did a video of me answering a lot of the questions that you asked, but it'll go more in depth too. It's about, how kids can get into recruiting and all that stuff, and how to navigate high school throwing and all that. So
Okay.
that's my other shout out. Sorry to interrupt.
No, you can interrupt. It's your interview. It's your interview. You can interrupt. Say whatever. Go subscribe, guys. She's got some good blogs on there. I like her blogs. The blogs are actually very good.
Oh,
And it just gives you insight into who she is, what she does, her throwing, ups, even some downs. And see, I like it's pretty detailed. I've watched almost just about every single video you have there. So
oh,
cool.
thank you. I
You're
appreciate it.
you're so welcome. Well, hey, thank you for your time. And everybody follow Stam at all these social media sites. And also her sponsor is Hate Brand Goods, www.thehate.com. And then the promo code is HAMMER. Okay? Don't forget it. All right, guys. It's your boy Coach Shelton Harrison. Done. What are you waiting on? Uh, just subscribe.